Hello everyone, welcome to Krishna's online lectures. In this video, I'm going to discuss another topic of engineering mechanics, that is idealized plot of friction force. So as I have discussed about the friction and friction force, so this friction is related to relative motion and friction force is considered as a resisting force which resists the relative motion of the body. So here, for example, if we consider one stationary surface or one stationary body and one body which is in motion and both bodies are in contact, so at the contact surface, we consider resisting friction force. Tangentially, it acts tangentially and it will act to the contact surface, at the contact surface. And here, this friction force we will consider in opposite direction of the applied force. So here, for example, this force is P, which is acting in this particular direction. So against this direction of motion and against this direction of force, the friction force will act, but it will act tangential to the surface and it will resist the relative motion of two bodies. So this body is in motion and this body is stationary. So this friction force will applied by the stationary body over this movable body, and this force will act tangentially and it will act on the contact surface. And here, if we see the free body diagram, so in free body diagram we will consider all forces. Here first force will be weight, second force will be the perpendicular reaction and it will be opposite to the weight, and weight is always acting in vertically downward direction, so reaction will be vertically upward. And the external force obviously, and if we are considering the surface, it is not frictionless, so in that case force or the friction force will act tangential to the contact surface. So this will be the free body diagram. When there is no motion, in that case also we will consider the friction force. But sometime when the surface is not frictionless and the body is in motion, in that case reaction can be considered in inclined direction, and this inclined direction reaction depends on the position of the body as well as the applied force on the body. So this is the basic concepts of the friction. Now here I am going to discuss some more concepts which is related to friction and friction force. So let us consider this diagram. Here we are considering two bodies. One is the stationary body, body 1, and another body which is placed on the stationary surface, and that body can move after application of applied load. So if we draw the free body diagram of this body, so the first force which we consider, that is the weight of the body which is acting vertically downward, and against this weight there is a reaction which act vertically upward. So these two forces are the necessary force which we consider even there is no applied force or even there is no external force applied over the body. Now second condition, when this body is placed on the stationary surface and when there is no force applied, in that condition the body will be in equilibrium condition. Equilibrium condition doesn't mean the body should be in stable condition. The body can be in movable condition, but it will move with uniform velocity. But here we are considering this body as stable condition. Now here if we apply some external force on this body too in a particular direction, so this is the direction of the applied force, and with this direction of applied force the body will try to move in the same direction. So this direction we are considering as the direction of motion. Now how this body is going to move in this particular direction? So this movement of the body depend on the contact between these two bodies, or contact, or we can say it depends on the contact surface, as well as the relative motion between these two bodies because of the external load is also depends on one more force, that is called the friction force. So friction force generally define the relative motion between two bodies. Friction force we consider as a resisting force which is resisting the relative motion. But if this external load value is greater than the friction force, in that case body can move in a particular direction. So this friction force is generally defining the motion of the body. or relative motion between two bodies. But this external load or external force should be greater than the friction force. Now, as we know, this friction force is acting on the contact surface, and this friction force acts against the direction of applied force, and it will act tangential to the contact surface. Now, how we can define the variation of friction force? So I will define this variation of friction force with the help of one graph, but here I'm going to define one condition which is generally representing the variation of friction force. Now let us consider the external load is 20 Newton, which is applicable on this body 2, which is placed on stationary body. Body 1 is stationary, so it will not move at all. Only body 2 will move after application of applied load. So let us consider applied load is 20 Newton. Now, after application of this 20 Newton force, if the body is not moving or it is in stable condition, so this body will be in equilibrium condition. In stability, we can define the equilibrium condition. So in equilibrium condition, we can consider summation of fx equals to 0, summation of fy equals to 0, all the conditions of equilibrium. Now, when after application of 20 Newton, the body is in stable condition. Now, if we want to move the body, so we have to increase the magnitude of force. Now, let us increase the magnitude of force. So, we are taking the value of force 30 Newton. So, this is increased force. Now, here, if still this body is in stable condition, so the body will not move and the body will be in equilibrium condition only. So, this force or this increase of force is defining the value of friction force. Here, the value of friction or the value of applied force is increasing. In that case, the value of friction force is also increased. The value of friction force is increasing with increase of applied load. How? As I told you, at the contact point, we cannot consider the smooth surface. The body is having number of irregularities. Both the bodies are having number of irregularities, and these irregularities are defining the contact between two bodies. And if the irregularities are more, in that case, contact will be more between two bodies. So if we are increasing the load, in that case, there is some effect we are considering over this stable body. From outside, this body is looking stable, but as we know, the body is the combination of number of molecules. So when we apply external load, so this external load will applicable on each and every molecule of the body. So these molecule will transfer the external load from one point of the body to another point of the body, and it will create disturbance. So this disturbance will try to move this particular body in a particular direction or towards the direction of motion. And if we want to resist the motion and if we want to get this body in equilibrium condition, so this body, the stable body, should apply some resisting force against the direction of applied force. So here, this friction force will generate on this contact surface against the external load. And if we are continuously increasing the applied load, so simultaneously the value of friction force will also increase. So if the variation if we are considering in the applied load, in that case, the friction force will also vary and friction force will also increase with the increase of applied load. So here we are increasing the value of applied load 30 Newton. In that case, the body is in equilibrium condition. So the value of friction force, which is resisting the relative motion, will also increase. So here if we are considering the value of friction force at F equals to 20 Newton is F1 and at F equals to 30 Newton is F2. So this F1 will be less than F2. So F2 value will be greater. So the body will be in equilibrium condition. Now here, if we want to move the body, so we have to continuously increase the applied load. Now, for example, if we are increasing the body or increasing the load as 50 Newton, and at this particular point, the body is in tend to move condition or the body is trying to move. the body is not moving, but it is in tend to move condition. The motion is going to happen. So this particular motion is called impending motion. Impending motion when the body is trying to move or bodies tend to move. Now, how we can define the impending motion in terms of friction? So, at impending motion, when the body is trying to move. So, during motion, there is a, when this particular irregularities are representing the contact between two bodies. So, when the body is in motion, the contact between two bodies will be less. So the value of friction force will be lesser. As I told you, this F should be greater than F friction. In that case, the body will move. So here, if the value of friction force will decrease, in that case only body is going to move in a particular direction. So when the body is in tend to move condition, in that case only the value of friction force will be maximum. So at the impending motion, the value of friction force will be maximum. So impending motion we can define where the value of friction force is maximum and body is in tend to move condition. Now after that, if we are increasing the load or we are slightly increasing the load, let us consider 51 Newton. So at 50 Newton, body is in tend to move condition. Now after slight increase, body will be in motion. So it will lose the equilibrium condition, body will convert into non-equilibrium condition, and this impending motion condition will be no more. So because of the motion, the value of friction force will be decreased, or it will be less. So we can define the value of friction force. For example, when the friction is F1 against the value of applied force 20 Newton and against the applied load 30 Newton, value of friction force is F2. So this F1 should be less than F2. Now F equals to 50 and friction force is F3. So this F2 is less than F3. But at F equals to 51, if we are considering the friction force as F4, so this F4 will be less than F3. It means F3 at impending motion condition, friction will be greater or friction will be maximum. So by this way, we can define the variation of friction force. And this variation of friction force we can define by the idealized graph. So this is our idealized graph which represent the different zone of the friction. So when the body is in stable condition, so the applied friction force on the body or at the contact surface or between two bodies will be static friction. But when the body is in motion, so the friction force is represented as a kinetic friction. So this idealized graph we can define in terms of applied force and friction force. So this horizontal line we are considering as applied force and this vertical line is representing the friction force. Now if we draw the graph, so we have to consider one origin point. So this 0 is representing the origin point. So this origin point we can define where no force applied. So here this horizontal line is representing the applied force. So this is the origin, means value of F will be 0. So at this particular point, this particular body will be in stable condition. There will be no motion. And at this particular point, friction will be also 0 because there is no applied force. Now, if we are continuously increasing the value of applied load, here the value of applied load is continuously increasing. So as per the previous concept, the value of friction force will also continuously increase. So the value of friction force is also increase with applied load or with increase of applied load. So in that case, if we draw the graph, so the graph will be in terms of this inclined line is representing the condition when F is proportional to F friction. So when this F value is increasing, friction force value will also increasing. Now here the value of force is continuously increasing 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now let's see the condition of impending motion. So impending motion condition we are considering as this point 1. So the 0, 1 condition or this 0, 1 zone is represented as zone of static friction, and the friction present in this particular zone is called the static friction. So here at this particular point, when the impending motion happen, when the body is tend to move, at that particular point the friction value will be maximum, and this friction force we are considering as F dash. So this 0, 1 region is representing the zone of static friction, and this point 1, when the body is tend to move, it is called instant of motion or impending motion. So at this particular point, F dash will be maximum, or friction force will be maximum. Now after that, if the applied force is constant, in that case also body will be in motion condition. So when the body is in motion condition, the value of friction is decrease. So this value of friction is decreasing, and this decreased friction value we are considering is F dash. So F double dash. So F dash is the maximum friction at the time of impending motion, and F double dash is the friction force value when the body is in motion. So this 1, 2 is representing, or this line 1, 2 is representing decrease in friction force because of the motion. And when the body is reaching this F double dash value, in that case, if we are increasing the value of applied load, so the value of friction force will be constant. So after this point 2, when the body is reaching the motion condition, in that case, value of friction force will be constant during the motion when we increasing the magnitude of applied force. So this zone 2, 3 is known as the zone of the kinetic friction. So here we can define the variation of friction force with the help of zone of static friction, zone of kinetic friction, and decrease in friction because of the motion. So 0, 1, 0, 2 and 2, 3 is representing the condition of variation of friction force, where the friction will be maximum at the time of, or at the point of impending motion. Now at this 0, 1 line, or in zone of kinetic friction, this friction is represented as static friction. So at this particular point, static friction we will define as mu s into r. Friction force, let us consider this F dash is the friction force, and F friction is the main friction force. So this friction force we can define by the formula mu r. So R will be the reaction which we are considering against the weight of the object. It will be in vertically upward direction, and it will be equal to weight of the object. And this friction force we can define as mu into R, where mu is called as the coefficient of friction. Mu is called the coefficient of friction. Here I have written mu is the coefficient of friction. Mu s is the coefficient of static friction, and mu k is the coefficient of dynamic or kinetic friction. So mu we consider as the coefficient of friction when there is no condition defined, when there is no static condition, when there is no dynamic condition. For common condition, we consider mu as the coefficient of friction. But during this static zone 0, 1, or during this zone of static friction, when there is increase in applied load as well as increase in friction force, so the friction is defined in terms of static friction, and it will be equivalent to mu s into r. So this r will be the reaction, that is equals to weight or mg. So this mg is representing the weight, and this mu s is representing the coefficient of static friction. So mu s we defined as coefficient of static friction. Now when the body is in kinetic friction zone, at 2, 3 when load is applied and continuously increasing the applied load. So in that case, friction force will be constant. So this is called the zone of kinetic friction. So in that case, the friction force we can define as mu k into R. So R is same, it will be equals to W or mg, but mu k is representing the coefficient of dynamic friction. So both the values will be different. So how we can define the mu s and mu k, and how it is helpful or how it is generally defining the variation of friction force. So as I told you, the friction in the static zone is greater compared to friction in the kinetic zone or friction during the motion. So this mu s should be greater compared to mu k. And why this is happening? This is only happening due to presence of irregularities on the surface. So more the irregularities, the more friction we will consider because of the greater value of mu s or the coefficient of static friction. So here mu s is always greater than mu k. That's why the value of friction force during the static zone is greater compared to kinetic zone or during the motion. So this diagram is representing the idealized graph of the friction force, and these are the formulas by which we can define the value of friction force in terms of static friction and dynamic friction, and it depends on the value of coefficient of friction for the static condition and for the dynamic condition. So these are the formula which you need to know, and these formula you will use during the numerical or during the solution of the numerical. And here mu s into R is defined as the maximum horizontal component of reaction when body is in static condition, and mu k into R, that is F double dash, that is representing the maximum horizontal component of reaction when body is in dynamic condition. So this is all about the idealized graph of the friction. Thank you for watching this video. You can rate, review this lesson, as well as you can share this lesson with your friends and your known people. And if you want to watch more lessons related to mechanical engineering, please subscribe.